McKinney North Bulldogs came out of the gate strong against Wylie on the road in a big district road test. Couldn't keep it up in the second half. They ended up falling 38-24. I'm joined by their head coach, Mike Fecci. And Coach got off to a great start in the game, a good response from your team early on to take the lead in Wylie. Second half, though, what changed in that second half?
You know, we just didn't play well in the second half. We really didn't. We didn't necessarily come out real flat or anything. They just were able to go down in that first drive in the second half and score on us. We had a chance in that drive to make a few plays to get off the field, and we didn't do it. And they scored, and then the momentum kind of swung right there. And, we kind of struggled a little bit, in the third quarter and then kind of picked it back up in the fourth quarter. But at the same time, it was a tale of two halves. We played real well in the first half and not well in the second. And that was the difference in the game.
We'll go ahead and roll those highlights. We'll start off here in the first quarter. Wylie took a 7-0 lead, but then they fumble at their own 47. You're able to turn that turnover into points.
Yeah, Ronald Jones, great runner here, runs that kid over for our first touchdown. Ronald had a great first half, did a nice job for us. Defensively, our two inside tackles, Justin Matabuke and Gabe Ducey, the two sophomores, really played well for us inside and stopped a lot of their interior running game. Ducey had a nice night, great throw here to Trey Smith and a good move right there. I think we ended up having to kick a field goal on this drive, which was frustrating, but still it was points. And like I say, first half we played pretty well.
And he led 10-7 after the end of the first quarter. Wylie came back with a 44-yard touchdown run by Wesley, just broke one on you, but Ronald Jones comes and breaks one back on Wylie.
Yeah, Ronald, that's a great run right there. Broke a lot of tackles. The play kind of broke down at the line of scrimmage, and he just made it happen. Great run.
That went for 71 yards at 17-14 to you at this point. And then a 3rd and 21, a long play. Don't know if you're going to get the first down on a play like this, but you get more than just the first down.
Yeah, great throw, great catch by Kervin Parks, and then great job keeping his feet right there and finding the end zone. That was a big, big play for us.
55 yards for the touchdown. Now you're up 24-14. Wylie, though, they closed the gap by the end of the half. Missed a field goal that could have tied it going into the half. But then look at that improvisation by Ducey.
Yeah, it was pretty neat play there for Ducey. A little shovel pass, a little Brett Favre-ish. Makes me nervous, but he got it done. Great play by Dimitri Parrish right here on the swing route. We played that play pretty well all night. It was a great play by Justin Matabuke, taking on the trap. Right there, like I say, those two guys really played well inside.
And Wylie never really got the ground game going too consistently in this game, but their quarterback, Carson Cook, it ended up throwing for 248 yards and 3 touchdowns in the game. Cameron Kelly, the wide receiver, who had 110 yards receiving.
Cameron, they went up top to Cameron. We had some single coverage on Cameron, and again, another play by Matabuke. Cameron's a really good player. And they caught us in some one-on-one situations, and kind of took advantage of that. He's a very tall, very physical. He's a really, really good wide receiver. For the most part, we did a good job against everything they did. We didn't contain the Kelly kid like I hoped we would have.
They scored a couple of touchdowns the third quarter. They get a field goal as well. And there were no scores in the fourth quarter. It remained 38-24, the final. On your drives in the second half, you're able to move the ball a little bit, but you had a couple of turnovers and then a couple of drives that just stalled out.
Yeah, the turnovers were critical, and then the stalling out of drives were critical. We've played so well in the second half offensively all year, to where our score ratio in the second half has been well above 80% and on drives. And you're gonna eventually run into a game where that doesn't happen, and that's kind of what happened to us the other night. You hope when you have a game like that your defense is able to rise up and make all the stops they need to make, and we did in the fourth quarter. Like I say, the third quarter was a killer to us, allowing 17 points and then not getting any points there. All in all, it's just one of those games sometimes you run into. We played hard. We got after it. We did some really good things. But at the same time, credit to Wylie. They're a good football team, coached well, play hard, and they did a good job.
Wylie held Ronald Jones on 21 carries to 160 yards, which doesn't sound like they're holding a running back to anything, but considering the games Ronald has had, a pretty good effort against him.
Yeah, and I want to say he may have had 120 of that in the first half. They did a great job against him in the second half. And they had a good plan in the second half. And that's a nice night, for Ronald, and it'd be a great night for most kids. And we've kind of been spoiled here lately when you're going for 300 yards and 6 touchdowns, and things like that. Those nights aren't going to happen every night. All in all, it was a good night for him. But at the same time, we've got to be able to do what we do, and we just didn't get that done.
Wylie improves to 3-1 in the district. They're a district favorite coming into this year. A lot of people with high hopes for them, and they certainly performed well in this game, but you frustrated them at times, especially on defense.
Yeah, we did. Defensively, we played the run pretty well. I mean, they had some rushing yards, and they were on big plays where they popped a trap or two, but our defensive line has really gotten better and better each week and really played well. This thing's wide open right now. As you mentioned, Wiley's 3-1, Dennison's 3-1, Wylie East is 3-1, Sherman, us, and Lovejoy are 2-2. So it's wide open, and it's anybody's deal right now, and it's one of those districts you never know who's going to beat who, and it's a lot of fun, and we just got to make sure we take care of our business.
You get Greenville next week. They're 0-7 on the season, 0-4 in district play. All sets up as an easy game, right?
Yeah, you'd think so, but at the same time, they're the kind of games that scare me to death because they're so athletic. That Greenville's got some of the best athletes around. And as you watch them on tape, you can see that little spurts from time to time of greatness. They struggle with confidence, to be honest with you, and they're one of those teams. If you can go out there and get on them early, you like your chances. You're one of those teams. If you go out there and they get on you early, it becomes a whole different deal. So we have to go out and play well early and stop them. They probably have the best defensive lineman in the district. He is a very, very dominant player when he wants to be. He is a difference maker, and we have to know where he is. They got a good running back that runs the ball really, really hard downhill. They're not bad. They're not bad. They have struggled, but they're not bad. They're a good team, and they're going to come in here and they're playing for pride right now, and they'd love nothing more than to come into Ron Poe and break that streak and all that. So we have to make sure we're doing what we need to this week so that doesn't happen.
Yeah, running back Matthews, nearly 600 yards rushing on the season, not bad at all. Their quarterback troubles has really been the problem with Greenville on offense. This season, they've combined for 3 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. What on defense are your secondary now looking forward to this matchup, looking to try and get a couple of interceptions?
Well, I hope so. I think with our kids, it's about us getting better. It's about us getting better at little details that we've not done a good job the last 2 weeks in our back end and our secondary. And when you see they got a really tall outside receiver that we have to be cognizant of and know where he is at all times. And they use a couple different quarterbacks in there. One of them's a sophomore. He's actually the offensive coordinator's son. And when he's not playing quarterback, he plays some receiver. And then they have the other quarterback. I mean, Greenville's going to do what they do. They're going to run the football. They're going to throw it when they need to. We've just got to go out and get pressure on the quarterback when they do throw it, and then hopefully get some turnovers.
It seems like focus will be the key to this game for your team. It's homecoming week, so they have all of that to deal with leading up to the game. And then also against a team that's winless, as a high schooler, it's easy to sort of assume that you're going to win a game, and then you might end up in the middle of it with your hands full. Yeah,
and there's no doubt. That was a very exact message I gave him Saturday and gave him again this morning. There's all these outside distractions. Homecoming is this week. I told him your part of homecoming is the game. That's your part of homecoming. Enjoy the things that homecoming bring, but your part's the game. And we have to go out every single day and work our tails off to get ready for this thing Friday. So when we walk in there, we have the confidence and we have done what we need to do like we have every other week up to this point to get ready for these guys and know that they're formidable, know that they're dangerous.
As you mentioned earlier, 3 teams are 3-1 in your district. You are 2-2 along with Lovejoy and Sherman. So there's 6 teams battling for 4 spots at this point. Obviously, if you can beat Greenville, you move to 3-2 with 2 games remaining. How key is that for your team as they start to sense that they've got the opportunity to not only get a playoff spot, to possibly get one of those favorable matchups in the first round?
No, I think that this game is huge for us. And with Wylie playing Denison this week, somebody's going to be 3-2 and somebody's going to be 4-1. Wylie East plays Royce City, I believe. So you never know, but at the same time, more than likely, Wylie East will be 4-1. Sherman plays Lovejoy, so somebody's going to be 3-2 and somebody's going to be 2-3. We need to make sure that my message to our kids is we just got to go do what we do. We got to worry about ourselves. And we got to go win this game right here. And that's all we need to worry about is winning this game right here. And then if we can do that next Saturday, we'll evaluate it again and see where we are after this weekend. But 13-4A is a crazy deal. It's been a really crazy district all year long where people are always tied, and then the next week there's some separation, and then it seems like the next week everyone's tied again, and then there's some separation. And we've got to go beat Greenville. We got to go beat Greenville and make sure that we're doing what we need to do to give ourselves that chance.
Yeah, this district is a story we're going to follow all season long. Coach, thanks again, and good luck to you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
It's Greenville for homecoming for McKinney North, the team in Greenville that has yet to win a game this year. But you never know when the sleeping giant's going to wake. McKinney North Bulldogs have to be ready for this challenge.